A message to Anjan Shelby. We, the English Defence League, we will contest your claim as our forefathers did, relentlessly pursuing you in our quest to see all Sharia banished from our great democratic country. Long live the free. What are you doing?
We're doing it to stand up against Islamic extremists who have been unchallenged in our country for 10 to 15 years. They're recruiting on our streets, in our universities, in our colleges, and the government doing nothing about it. And to be honest, we don't feel the Islamic community doing anything about it.
And what was the point of what you just did?
The point of this was we've been labelled as Nazis and racists by the media, and we feel that the government and media and the Islamic community feel the easiest way to deal with this problem is to label all of us as fascists and Nazis. But we're not fascists and we're not Nazis, and we're actually standing up against the fascists. The Islamic extremists are the most fascist, racist people that anyone has ever come across. So we've done this today to show that we hate Nazis, we don't agree with extremism. We are a multicultural group of people. We're a black and white organisation where anyone can join. We're just here to stand up against extremism. Where, let's face it, every town that has an Islamic community has a group of mad mother extremists.
How many members would you say you have?
Thousands. It's hard to tell now, but we've got 100 different English Defence League branches in 100 different cities across the country. 30-year-old street women that stand on the street and oppose Islamic extremists. We've all seen what happened in Birmingham, we've all seen what happened in Harrow. People are coming under fierce, violent attack by groups of young Muslim extremists.
Fair enough. Anybody else wants to talk to
Tommy, is that referred to from the table? Obviously, you all have looked at the Searchlight website, and they do allege that your organisation is at least infiltrated by people with connections to the BNP.
That's why we've done this today, to let any racist people, any national front, you're not welcome on our demos, you're not welcome in our organisation, do not come and try and join us on streets and protest, because we don't want you there as much as we don't want Anjan Chowdhury or Islamic extremists on our streets. There's no place for racism.
They allege that Mr. Remington, who organises your website, is a member of the BNP.
I think you'll find that our website has nothing to do with Mr. Renton. It was never been set up by Mr. Renton. It's probably another UAF, far left lie, fabricated rubbish like the rest of what they keep coming out with. It's all just to try and target as racist. They think it will go away. The matter of fact is it won't go away. It will go away if Islamic extremists go away. Yeah. But as long as Islamic extremists walk the streets of our country, we're going to follow them.
What about Mr. Cooling? Have you heard
Davy Cooling? Oh, yes, I know Davy Cooling.
Now, he's supposed to be a BNP member.
He's never. This is another thing. So we know 100% he isn't a BNP member. So that's just another way of calling him a BNP member. And another thing, a lot of people were meeting on our demos say, well, I vote for BNP, but I don't agree with all their policies. The only reason why I voted for them was because they stand up against Islamic extremists. Face it, Salma Yaqub and all these Islamic politicians want to come out and keep calling us racist and shouting at us. They didn't stand up for the non-Muslim community of Birmingham. They haven't stood up for the non-Muslim community once.
What about the idea that people will say, well, at events that have been attended by your organisation, there have always been outbreaks of violence?
That's wrong. Our first protest in Birmingham, there was no violence and no arrests. Our first protest was a peaceful protest, and the reason why is because there wasn't 100 to 200 young Muslims with balaclavas, bits of wood, poles, fireworks and bricks attacking people, attacking our police force. The reason why we've decided not to go back to Birmingham is because we don't want to see our police force come under attack again. There was 4 police forces policing the streets that day, and they still can keep the baying mob at bay. And we had to cancel our protest in a democratic country. We've got soldiers dying in foreign fields for democracy. We haven't got democracy here.
Of course, you'll be aware that, when this appears on camera, you're all in mass, and it looks a bit like the loyalist organisation from Northern Ireland. It's quite an intimidating look. How do you expect to get general support when people would say...
Does this look as intimidating as a burqa? It's exactly the same as a burqa. How do you think we feel when we walk into Islamic communities where every single woman down there is wearing a burqa? How do you think our children feel when they're 5 years old and they stand in the bank next to a burqa?
Oh, come on. There's like 15 lads here in Balaclava burning the swastika in a disused warehouse. I mean, it sends out a certain message, doesn't it?
It sends out a message that we hate Nazis and we will stand up against Islamic extremists in this country. That's the message we're sending out.
But in standing up, is there a militant undertone to that?
There's no militant undertone. We will peacefully protest, but we will not be scared into silence. I think the UAF's idea was to come and beat us all up, jump over innocent non-Muslims' heads, and hope that we get too scared to come out in the streets and protest. And quite frankly, it's backfired. We've got more people coming out in the streets. Our organisation's gone through the roof. We've got thousands of members joining every day, and we will continue to take to the streets.
How do you define membership? What is the definition of membership?
We've got 2,700 pledged members who have actually joined, and
Given that you feel that the democratic process has let your cause down, what sort of level of direct action would you consider?
would we consider? We want anyone who calls for the implementation of Sharia law arrested. We want serious prison terms for calling for the implementation of Sharia law. Let's face it. No, it will always be a peaceful protest organisation. But we feel that by taking to the streets, it's quite sad really that the only way people seem to listen is when they're worried by something. Now we feel already in towns like in Birmingham, the Islamic Roadshow that Anjem Chowdhury headed, which is the reason why the protest started in Birmingham, because he unveiled a banner that said Jesus was a Muslim, and he converted an 11-year-old child who was shopping in the city centre to Islam. Now we feel that next year, Anjem Chowdhury's organisation will not be allowed to do that. And the only reason why they won't be allowed to do that is because we took to the streets in Birmingham. And I think another message is going out on their website to say any councils across this country who are contemplating calling Christmas anything other than Christmas this year, we're going to protest in every city. Because our way of life, our British culture is being eroded, all through fear. Everyone's on eggshells, always worried about the racist card. Look at us, we've been called as an organisation a far-right racist Nazis. Do we look like far-right racist Nazis? Would we brand a swastika?
Well, why are you here, lads?
I mean, it's just be there, isn't it? You know what I mean? I've got the same views as him. I just want to voice my opinion.
How about yourself? Why are you here?
The same as what everybody said.
Why are you here?
To say how I feel about these extremists coming on the streets and shouting at our soldiers and stuff like that. They shouldn't be allowed to do it. So,
generally spreading hatred. The thing, a lot of demonstrations, especially with black lads, they are cautious about coming out and demonstrating because there is going to be a tendency of a load of idiots, Nazis, racists, turning up, which is why we wanted to do this message to say, you're not welcome, don't come. The aim today is the British media and the government, many members of government keep coming out and saying we're racists, Nazis, yobs, and calling our whole organisation fascist. And they're banging about the word fascist and racist so easily now that it's an injustice to the word. And we don't call every Muslim who follows the religion of Islam a terrorist because a minority of them blew themselves up in London on the 7th of the 7th. So for them to call our whole organisation fascist and racist because they've got one picture of an idiot giving a Hitler sign in Birmingham is, we feel, they're alienating the British public because the whole British public is supporting the English Defence League. No matter what they keep saying, every radio phone-in they have, every newspaper article, all the comments underneath are supporting us.
Why do you think that is?
Because everyone's had enough of these Islamic extremists.
Would it be possible for an Islamic person to become a member?
Of course it would. We've got members. They've contacted us already. We've got many Muslims who have contacted us and said what they'd heard about us originally, they thought we were fascist and racist. After being on our website and reading our message forums and seeing what people are talking about, and they themselves have seen through the media lies and the UAF lies. And they can see we are standing up against Islamic extremists. We've got no problem. But the way it's gone now, with people coming under violent attack by groups of Muslims, it's sort of turned it into, whenever there is going to be a street protest, people are going to be going with the thought that there's going to be violence and they may need to defend themselves. But this is, we feel, down to Salmi Yaqub anyway. Because Salmi Yaqub told members of government, the whole Islamic community of Birmingham, the whole black community of Birmingham, that we were the BNP. And quite clearly we're not the BNP. It's fabulous. On every protest we've had black and white unite banners. We've had banners that read, we hate Nazis as much as we hate Muslim extremists. But for some reason, a lot of Islamic leaders are just coming out and they think if they shout louder than us and say fascist as many times as they can, the problem will go away. But the problem's not in our community. It's in their community.